Grand Rising family and good day. It's Shay Seeking, and this is Not Your Mama's Bible Study along with History Live. Um, so let's go ahead and continue on this uh, very interesting, excuse me. I don't know whether we should call it an article or whatever, but some information um, about Abraham Lincoln. And we're basically just trying to see what the correlations are between Abraham of the biblical text and Abraham and his lineage, okay, um, in history. So, again, I have seen information that leads me to believe that these storylines are one and the same. But again, I always leave it. I'm never here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm just sharing what it looks like to me. So I'm leaving it up to the people that are watching to see if they want to dig a little bit deeper. The whole thing in the end game, like I said in the beginning, is for us to realize that there's no such thing as this God in the sky watching over you in the clouds. There's no Savior coming back besides yourself to save you. When it comes to this Christ or this Christos, I believe it is a level of it that can be found in each one that is risen to a higher level of consciousness, knowing by using wisdom, knowledge obtained, and discernment. So, again, it is a spiritual thing, not the spiritual aspect that you feel like you might be having in church. I believe that Christianity is a downfall for people. It is basically giving you a false notion or false narrative as to who and what we're talking about when we're talking about this text. So to say that the Bible is not real, I'm not saying that. To say that it's not true, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that it is true. And I'm also not saying, but I know that this is not the writings of God, unless God is this governing force that we are serving under, that is a sort of a caste system that people have been under for hundreds and thousands of years. And this particular caste system was created by the God of creation. Okay, so in that aspect, you guys can see where I'm coming from. That these people in this text are mere men that you've learned about using alternative views or alternative perception, um, ignited by the school system, which is just an indoctrination station. And then you have another portion of this that is a dual way of looking at it in your churches, which are the second part of the indoctrination station. And both of these preside at the top of the caste system in that little pyramid, like the one on the back of the dollar bill with the eye on it and the light shining on it. So I think that they dim your uh, higher consciousness or your pineal or crown chakra or your higher self. Okay, the God within you that is a higher state of consciousness. Okay, these things are to alter the perception so that you can't see what's actually going on. And what I'm saying is these may be mere men, okay, that have been placed on high or in a high standard to people, to regular everyday people, and they are the ones that you're learning about in school and in your Bible study. Okay, so on that note, we can go ahead and continue. There's just way too many correlations, and that's just where we're at right here. Okay, so I think we read the top portion already, but I don't know why this thing is here in the way, um, where I can't read that. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into this portion. And it says in 1780, Abraham Lincoln sold his land in Linville, maybe, Creek. And in 1781, he moved his family to Kentucky, then a district of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Okay, now it'd be very interesting to see what was going on in these commoners' wealth. But again, that's just off the top of my head. I would like to know more about what was going on in these districts. Okay, of Virginia. The family settled in Jefferson County. Okay. Now, again, Jefferson County. Who does that have? Does that have anything to do with Thomas Jefferson or his lineage? I'm not sure. So, um, and does Thomas have something to do with Thomas? Thomas in the biblical fashion, does any of that story correlate or remind you of anything that has to do with Jefferson? It's just a question, okay? I haven't delved into him yet, okay? So, about 20 miles east of the site of Louisville, the territory was still contested by Indians living across the Ohio River, okay? And I would like to know um, what the Ohio River may. Mm, I don't know. I'm just thinking biblically what, um, because I feel like just my mind's eye, okay? And there's other alternative thinkers too that see the word in this way. But again, it would be so hard for us to unravel everything, especially when we're all doing it, um, you know, using our consciousness and that spiritual aspect is leading us to gather all these things and trying to see what your mind's eye is telling you it is. But I like the fact that I've thought this way, and then now I've noticed that other people um, are seeing this the same way. People that I've just run across lately, as of lately, that are looking at it. And there's also people that have been writing about this for a very long time. So, this alternative view. So, like the Euphrates, I'm almost certain that in the Euphrates is running uh, over on the west coast from South America on up, and it may have been they may have built dams, or there might be portions where it's broken off from antiquity, and I think the Tigris or the Tigri or Tigri, I'm not sure the pronunciation, but it's spelled Tigre, river that runs parallel, like it says that they do in the biblical text. I mean, in the biblical Bible study, okay? Everyday Bible study will tell you that they run parallel with each other, and you'll be amazed to see the Tigris and or the Tigre River in South America, okay, and how it runs um, what I think would be the Euphrates um, River. But I've done a video on it, and I hope to be uploading. I'm just having a lot of problems uploading that video. So, and I can't just redo it because, I go with the flow. So, I'm just trying to figure out how to fix that video so that I can get that up to you guys. And then when we're talking about the Nile, I'm not sure. I mean, we can possibly be talking about the Mississippi, the upper and lower, and then there's a part that branches off. Maybe that is the Ohio River. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Um, but anyway, okay. So let's see. Hmm, where were we? Okay, Ohio River. Okay, for protection, the settlers lived near frontier forts. Now, that's a big question. A lot of people wonder what these star forts are for, or what some of these forts were for. And like I just said in the other video, and it's funny that it's going to kind of confirm that now, is that when he said that he was going to the station, um, when Abraham, when the three sons was with their father, um, and he was shot by the Indians, and they ran to the station for help. That's what I'm saying. I think that there was like a, even like a, we can even say a military station or something like that, that they would be pertaining to. I'm pretty sure it's not a train station. Okay. So anyhow, frontier forts called station. Okay. See, and now look, I talk too fast and too much. Okay. So again, like, okay, perfect, 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 perfect. See, and this is what I'm saying, just using common sense and everything, and then how things just run and lay right in place. Because honestly, I did not pre-read this. I'm just reading it with you guys. I copied it a long time ago. It took me like hours to find it in my midst of my millions of screenshots that I take, and I really just didn't read the whole thing. And when I read it the first time, I wanted to save it to share it with you guys. And this is just how things happen. Okay, see, because there is a spiritual aspect to this that we should not let go of, but again, it comes with something. Okay, so again, to which they retreated when the alarm was given. Abraham Lincoln settled near Hughes Station on Floyd Fork and began clearing land, planting corn, and building a cabin. Now it says death. One day in May, okay, in 1786, Abraham Lincoln was working in the field with his three sons when he was shot from the nearby forest and fell to the ground. The eldest boy ran. Okay, wait a minute. What is this? Is this a. No, we didn't read this one. We didn't. Okay, the eldest boy Mordecai ran. Maybe this is repeating itself. To the cabin where a loaded gun was kept, while the middle son, Josiah, ran to the Hughes station for help. Thomas, the youngest, stood in shock as by his father. From the cabin, Mordecai observed an Indian come out of the forest and stop by his father's body. The Indian reached for Thomas, either to kill him or carry him off. Okay, so this is I'm not sure if this is the same story or not. But the other story, the other portion of the story, um, okay, no, this is saying Abraham. And I think the first one was talking about Mordecai or another one, Thomas, I think that was working in the field. I'm getting confused. Okay. So anyway, you guys can go back to part one to see, or two, to see what that was about. But again, it didn't say some of this stuff is new. So I think that this is a different portion. Okay. Um, let's see. Yeah, because they said that he was the just as the Indian was going to scalp him, and that doesn't say that here. Okay, so it could be pertaining to the same story or another a story of another member. The Indian reached for Thomas either to kill him or carry him off. Mordecai took careful aim and shot the Indian in the chest, killing him. Tradition states that Captain Abraham Lincoln was buried in his cabin, by his cabin, which is now the site of Long Run Baptist Church and Cemetery near Eastwood, Kentucky. A stone, now see, there's a lot of placing the stone in the biblical text too. I don't know if it's correlating with this particular storyline about someone being killed when they were with their three sons, but again, we're going to go ahead and look at it, okay? I'm just reading it initially, and then we'll pick through it and see what would be some information that we would need to, look further into, okay? A stone memorializing Captain Abraham Lincoln was placed in the cemetery in 1937. Bathsheba Lincoln was left a widow with 5 underage children. She moved the family away from the Ohio River to Washington County. Okay, again, uh, Kentucky. Okay, where the country was more thickly settled and there was less danger of Indian attack. Under the law, uh, under the law then operating. Mordecai Lincoln, as the eldest son, inherited 2/3 of his father's estate when he reached the age of 21. Now, remember these things like this because a lot of times in the text, they'll say that he was 9 when he began to rule, or he was this age when 20 and 1 or something when he started to rule or reign. Um, so again, if they inherited their father's estate, then they must have inherited it. They could have inherited a certain status, okay, that went along with it, okay. And if these are some forms of kings or gods or lords, okay, then you know you can go ahead and think what you want. So reach the age of 21. So it'll say something like he was 21 when he began to reign. And then you can look around and see what you can find that might correlate. So with Bathsheba receiving 1/3, okay, the other children inherited nothing. So he felt it was only necessary to give those two something. Okay. Life was hard, particularly for Thomas, the youngest, who got little schooling and was forced to go work at a young age. In later years, Thomas Lincoln would recount the story of the day his father died to his son, Abraham Lincoln, the future 16th President of the United States of America, the story of his death by the Indians. The president later wrote, and of Uncle Mordecai. I think they used to call him Uncle Mord, maybe Morty or something. Then 14 years old, okay, killing one of the Indians. And the legend, more strongly than all others, imprint on my mind and memory. Henry, the Long Hunter, Skaggs, was a known associate of Daniel Boone. Several biographies of Boone name Skaggs and his brothers specifically. Richard Skaggs, Long Hunter, and then I will be back so that we can continue. Thanks a lot. Don't forget to do a couple of things like, comment, rate, and subscribe. And if you would like, I will always continue to invite you guys to join the Facebook group American Aborigines Unchained, where we just share an array of alternative information that has been found, and we share it with each other in order to help, all of us become enlightened on certain, all kinds of things. Okay. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and yes, take care.